You think you know Meghan Markle? Oh honey, sit down, because what Megyn Kelly just revealed will flip that picture-perfect fairy tale upside down. We've been spoon-fed the same glossy story for years. Meghan, the victim, the trailblazer, the woman who dared to challenge the crown. But what if, just what if, that story was nothing more than a carefully crafted mask? Megyn Kelly didn't just gossip, she tore the curtain back. What she exposed wasn't rumor, it was a revelation so sharp, so unsettling, it cracked Meghan's polished image right down the middle. Once you hear it, you'll never look at her the same way again. Long before Meghan was photographed at Harry's side, insiders in Toronto already had a story to tell. This wasn't the Meghan of charity speeches and royal waves. No, this was Meghan who knew how to supply what others wanted. And we're not talking about party snacks, darling. Guests at her first wedding in Jamaica remember her rolling more than 100 joints herself. Yes, Meghan on her wedding day, hand-rolling weed for every guest, neatly packed into bags like wedding favors. At first, it felt playful, even generous. But that was just the glittering surface. Behind the scenes, Meghan was allegedly connected to something much stronger. Cocaine. People who partied with her at Soho House whispered that she wasn't just dabbling, she was providing. Meghan had connections, resources, and the nerve to deliver exactly what the elites craved. And here's where the bomb drops. In 2016, as her romance with Prince Harry was just igniting, Meghan was reportedly busted in Toronto while purchasing cocaine. The whispers claim she wasn't just buying for herself, it was also for Harry and even Princess Eugenie, who had slipped into their little circle. That story never reached the headlines. It was buried, sealed, scrubbed clean from the official timeline. So let's pause. Was Harry drawn to Meghan purely out of love, or did she pull him back into a world he'd already confessed to experimenting with? Remember, Harry admitted in Spare that cocaine did nothing for him. But Meghan? Insiders say it was her drug of choice. If true, this wasn't just fun and games. It was how Meghan controlled her world. Substances weren't just a personal vice. They became her currency, her leverage, her way to belong and keep powerful people close. The nose that told a story. And then, of course, there's Meghan's face. Oh, people have whispered about her nose for years. Subtle changes, undeniable shifts. Meghan once thanked her father for her Markle nose. But photographs, they tell a different story. The bridge, the tip, the nostrils, tweaked, refined, reshaped. Now here's where it gets messy. Doctors have long warned that heavy cocaine use erodes the bridge of the nose, sometimes collapsing it completely, forcing reconstruction. So were Meghan's multiple refinements vanity? Or were they a desperate patch-up job to cover the damage? And the symbolism of it all? Some critics believe her surgeries weren't just about looks, but about rejecting her heritage, chiseling away the parts of herself that reflected her black roots. Was it insecurity, survival in Hollywood, or the image she thought a royal should have? Whatever the reason, Meghan's changing face became the perfect metaphor, a mask hiding addiction, insecurity, and an identity she didn't want the world to see. The double life at Soho House now. Let's talk about the beating heart of Meghan's Toronto years, Soho House. This wasn't just a members-only club. For Meghan, it became the stage where she perfected her double life. Forget glittering galas and red carpets. These gatherings were smaller, riskier, and dripping with exclusivity. Insiders paint a vivid picture. Meghan wasn't some tag-along friend of Jessica Mulroney or Marcus Anderson. She was the woman making sure the right party favors were always available. She provided, she participated, and she earned trust in circles where secrets were the only currency. In public, Meghan played the role of hard-working actress, the relatable girl next door. But inside Soho House, she thrived in a world of indulgence, control, and carefully guarded secrecy. This is where she learned the art of compartmentalization. One life for the cameras, another behind closed doors. And it was in this shadowy world, not at a charity event or a film set, that the seeds of her relationship with Harry were planted. Romance? Maybe. But shared indulgences and shared secrecy? Definitely. A woman of contradictions. One of the loudest red flags in Meghan's story is how her words never seem to match. Over and over again, she's told different versions of the same events. In one interview with Jaime Kern-Lima, she swore she clawed her way up, completely self-made. In another with Emma Garrett, her story twisted into a totally different tale. Then came Bloomberg, and suddenly yet another narrative. Small slip-ups? Hardly. This was a pattern. Megyn is comfortable bending the truth. No blinking, no flinching, no hesitation. Why? Because when you're living a double life, contradictions aren't mistakes, they're strategies. And here's the danger. If she can lie so easily about her career and connections, what else has she lied about? Once those cracks appear, every part of her story starts to look suspicious. Her war with the mirror. But let's peel another layer back. Her obsession with appearance. Megyn's surgeries, styling choices, and even her public comments have fueled accusations that she's constantly trying to escape her identity. Critics argue she rejects her black heritage unless it's convenient to use it. And then there's the age factor. Photographs show Megyn's body thinning, her face tightening, her look edging toward emaciated. Stress, cosmetic treatments, substance use, maybe all of the above. But one thing is clear. Megyn preaches authenticity while battling her own reflection. Young girls once admired her as a role model. Now they see someone desperately clawing away at herself to maintain an illusion. Instead of showing confidence, she radiates conflict. From royal dream to royal disaster. Ah, the royal wedding. The fairy tale climax, right? Wrong. Megyn's new role should have been the easiest gig in the world. Smile, wave, support the queen's causes, follow tradition. Yet Megyn struggled at every step. She balked at pantyhose. She clashed with staff. She rolled her eyes at customs that countless women before her had handled with grace. But here's the real kicker. London was simply too dangerous for her double life. In the UK, the spotlight was relentless. Every move, every connection, every indulgence, scrutinized. For someone hiding secrets, it was suffocating. So Megyn escaped over and over again. Amsterdam, Italy, the US, anywhere but under the palace microscope. These weren't vacations, they were survival trips. Her royal life should have been her crowning achievement. Instead, it exposed the pattern she'd been living for years. Ambition, collapse, escape. Megyn wasn't just running from the palace, she was running from the truth. As if the drug whispers, the surgeries, and the contradictions weren't enough, there's one more bombshell that Megyn Kelly highlighted. And it's the question of Megyn's age. On paper, Megyn is supposed to be a 1981 baby. That would make her early 40s today. But buried in the paperwork, documents she herself once submitted don't match the age she claims. Even more jaw-dropping, her official birth certificate, the one that should be a matter of public record, is sealed. No one can access it. Now tell me, why would anyone seal a basic birth certificate unless there was something to hide? And it doesn't stop there. The royal family once showcased a glowing profile of Megyn on their official website. It bragged about her Northwestern degree, her double major, her fluency in 4 languages. Fast forward to today and poof, those lines are gone, quietly scrubbed like they never existed. Now all that remains is a passing mention of suits. Why erase her academic shine? Why hide her age? Why vanish the details? The palace has done this before, of course, for others whose secrets were too damaging to expose. And suddenly, Megyn wasn't just a wife to Harry, she was another file of contradictions Buckingham was willing to protect. The pattern of cover-ups. Step back for a second and connect the dots. Drugs and substances. From rolling joints to alleged cocaine stashes, her changing nose, cosmetic tweaks that may reveal deeper battles, Soho House indulgences, the shadowy world where secrets ruled, contradictions in interviews, a woman whose stories change like outfits, identity struggles, surgeries and styling that distanced her from her roots, royal life failures, she couldn't or wouldn't play the part, sealed records, age, education, details erased or hidden. Individually, each one might raise eyebrows. Together, they form a chilling pattern. This isn't bad luck or misunderstanding. It's a life built on masks, carefully curated for survival, for influence, for control. Megyn Kelly didn't just poke holes in Megyn's fairy tale. She ripped the entire script apart. The mask of the royal humanitarian, remember how Megyn branded herself. An actress, a humanitarian, a royal, a victim, a fighter for justice. She wanted the world to see her as the face of modern royalty. Progressive, fearless, compassionate. But strip away the speeches, the photo ops, the Netflix specials, and what do we see? A woman who built her identity on contradictions, a woman who reshaped her face to hide insecurity, a woman who used connections to secure indulgences and then fled when scrutiny got too close, a woman who sealed her own records and leaned on Buckingham's silence. The authenticity she preaches doesn't match the reflection staring back in the mirror. the royal family's silent complicity. And here's the most unsettling part. It's not just Meghan hiding the truth. Buckingham Palace played its part. They erased timelines, they deleted profiles, they kept certain whispers from leaking. Why? Because the monarchy has always been about preservation, of image, of tradition, of survival. Meghan's flaws weren't just her own. They risked tainting the entire institution. Better to cover up than confront. And so the palace chose silence. Protect Meghan the way they once protected others. Let the contradictions slip quietly into sealed files. Pretend the cracks in the mask don't exist, but silence can only hold for so long. The cracks grow louder. Megyn Kelly's revelations aren't idle gossip. They're cracks in a mask Meghan has fought desperately to maintain. Through those cracks, we glimpse the truth. A truth she wanted buried, a truth the palace helped keep hidden. Every contradiction, every sealed document, every vanished detail adds to the noise, and the louder it grows, the harder it becomes for Meghan to drown it out. Because masks, they don't last forever. Eventually, they slip, and when they do, the face beneath is revealed. The bigger question, so, where does this leave us? Meghan Markle wanted to be remembered as a symbol of change, of resilience, of a new era of royalty. She wanted the fairy tale. She wanted the crown without the rules, the spotlight without the scrutiny. But Megyn Kelly's bombshell forces us to look again. Meghan's story isn't one of inspiration, it's one of deception. The sealed birth certificate, the erased credentials, the drug whispers, the surgeries and shifting identity, the failures as a royal, the cover-ups that point to a darker truth. Piece by piece, the picture collapses, and the haunting question remains, if this much has already been exposed, what else is still hidden? The gossip that refuses to die. Because here's the thing about gossip, darling, it lives, it breathes, it spreads. You can bury a document, you can erase a line from a website, but whispers, they linger in corridors, they echo in headlines, they explode when someone like Megyn Kelly dares to say them out loud. And once the whispers escape, they're impossible to contain. The final curtain. In the end, Meghan Markle's mask may still be intact for some, but for others, those who've listened, those who've seen the contradictions, the illusion has shattered. Megyn Kelly didn't just reveal shocking details. She handed the world a new lens. Through it, we see Meghan not as the heroine of her own tale, but as a woman running from scrutiny, from exposure, from herself. And the cruel irony? The very thing she craved, attention, is the thing that keeps dragging the truth closer to the surface. Because once the cracks appear, no amount of palace silence, no amount of PR gloss, no amount of sealed records can hide them forever. The fairy tale is over, the mask is slipping, and the truth? Oh, darling, the truth is always louder.